With that, thank you for being here this morning. We have our first presentation, Benga, PhD student at Mississippi State University. Welcome. The floor is yours.
All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Benga from the Department of Sociology here in Mississippi State University. And with me on this project, Dr. Thompson, Dr. Lee, and also Dr. Bethel, who are from different departments in this university. So I am presenting today a review of social studies of agricultural autonomy, status, and recommendation. This is a review of literature on social dimensions of autonomous agriculture and as a part of a larger project that we are working on. This project is, the objective of this project is to assess the existing literature and identify gaps so that we can make recommendations for further studies on this technology. Like I said, this is a part of larger project that we are working on the autonomous agriculture generally that is funded by National Institute of Food and Agriculture, NIFA, under USDA. The emergence of autonomous agriculture generally has been facilitated by various factors such as farm labor shortage, whereby the number of farmers in the United States and all over the world are kept reducing, and at the same time, it is becoming increasingly difficult to get farm workers to come to farm to work. In addition to that, we also have issues of increasing global population, which also touches on the concerns about food insecurity, because as the population of the world increases and then number of farmers decreases, that then becomes a concern for food security. In addition to this, we also have another factor that is like profit maximization in the area of agriculture, whereby autonomous agriculture has been touted as a technology that can help reduce farm inputs and increase productivity, whereby that would lead to profit maximization. Ecological concerns are also another factor, whereby literature pointed to the fact that concern for global warming and other issues, whereby agriculture has also been seen as a contributing factor to issues on application of chemical and carbon footprints. So those are concerns and factors that has led to the emergence of this technology. Now, when we talk about autonomous agriculture technology, we are talking about machines. Just for example, machines such as self-driving tractors, harvesters, agricultural robots, drones, among other technologies that we already know. As far as the knowledge about this technology, we know that the development and prospect of autonomous agriculture, as well as human-robot interaction, has been well researched. Research is going on from this field of engineering and computer science, while agricultural science and agricultural economics are focusing on plant, environmental, and economic benefits of this technology. However, studies on social dimensions of autonomous agriculture is lagging. So what we did is conduct a systematic review using systematic mapping. This is a method of systematic review that is very efficient in summarizing and describing existing evidences on certain topics of interest to be able to provide insight into the structure of the published works. Basically, we looked at three databases: ESCOhost, Google Scholar, and Science Direct, and we used SPIDER, which is an acronym for Sample, Phenomenon of Interest, Design, Evaluation, and Research Type, to be able to capture different variety of design that have been published. So I am happy to talk more about the methods later if we have any question for that because of time. So I'll go to results. So this is the flowchart of the studies that we included in this study. So basically from the three databases that we used, we found 1,966 records at the initial stage research, and then we have 4 records from other sources. So adding that together, we have 1,900 from the beginning. Then screening all these, we were down with 25 records altogether that we included for final analysis. So geographical distribution of these studies that we included were more concentrated in Europe and then North America, with Europe having more records of 14 and then North America 5. So the years and methods of inquiry that these publications use we saw records from 2015, and we had one record from there, and then to 2021, which is 6. However, 2021 has the highest number of records, which is 7. As far as the method of inquiry, we classify that into 4, and we have review of literature, which has 8 records. We have a qualitative method and quantitative method, which have 7 each, and mixed method has the lowest number of records that we included, and that's 3. So going forward, we classify the salient themes that we found under these studies into 4. And the first 2 are adoption of this technology, and then implication of adoption of autonomous agriculture. Then we have policy, and then we have studies on human-robot interaction. However, we'll be focusing more on the adoption generally today. So, as far as adoption, we know factors. We classify the factors that influence adoption into 4. One of them is socio-human factors, and then we have technology-based factors, and other 2 are farm characteristics, which include farm size and whether a farm is organic or regular farm. So with a bigger farm and then organic farm having higher propensity for adoption. Another one is environmental concern, and this has to do with social pressure, that is the movement from the people to ask for accountability, environmental accountability from agriculture, which also leads to environmental law from government. So these are kind of pressures that some of the farmers share with the studies that we actually included. So those are the things that they highlighted as some of the factors. So social and human factors were further divided into 2 categories. We have social dimension, which points to labor shortage, and then social influence, and some of the variables that were found. And then the other part is farmers' characteristics, which is looking more like socioeconomic variable. So we're looking at, we found variables such as technical skills, that is, the level of technical skills of a farmer inform whether they are going to adopt or not. And then we have age of farmers, education, and resistance to technology, and other variables. So as far as technology-based factors, we have these variables as some of the variables that were highlighted in the studies, with perceived usefulness having the highest number of records that highlighted it. Then we have compatibility concerns, which has been highlighted so much in some of the presentations that we have in this conference. And compatibility concerns is talking about the concern from farmers that are thinking about the existing farming system that they have, and then the existing technology that they have on their farm. So how compatible is autonomous agriculture, autonomous technology that is coming to the farm with the existing system of farming that they have? So those are concerns. Then complexity of the system itself. And then one more thing that I want to really emphasize is technical reliability, which has been highlighted. We heard that from the farmers panel yesterday, how that they were talking about the reliability of this technology, especially in the area of repair, that some farmers can repair their tools on the farm if it's faulty. But in the area of the concern about autonomous agriculture is that if this thing is faulty, one of the farmers talked about chip yesterday, how are they able to fix it, and then what is the proximity to the people that can fix it for them? So those are the concerns as far as technology-based factors. So what we concluded with is the fact that there's a concentration of knowledge in Europe, and North America as far as technology, autonomous technology is concerned. And this technology has been described as a double-edged sword because it is capable of producing both positive and negative implications for society and agriculture generally. So the good news is that there seems to be an increasing positive attitude toward adoption, and then despite all this, we still have that positive attitude. So recommendations, generally we have 4 recommendations, one of which is that we should look, social studies should look at characteristics of farmers, because there seems to be a divided view about how age influences adoption. Then secondly, we recommend that studies should be conducted on the influence of adoption on home economy of farm workers, especially migrant workers. Then the third recommendation, we know that based on this study that adoption is socially influenced. However, 2 out of the 17 empirical studies that we included looked at public perception. So we want to recommend that studies should focus on that. And finally, we suggest that studies should also look into the perception of autonomous agriculture in developing countries, because we couldn't find any record from there. So that's the end of the presentation.
Thank you so much. We do have time for some questions. I will also monitor the chat the best I can. Please go ahead.
It seems to me there's a lot of parallels between adoption of these autonomous technologies and precision ag technologies. Did you look into kind of the similar trends between these two?
Between what?
So there seems to be a lot of similarities in the trends with adopting precision ag technologies.
Okay.
Did you look at the similarities between the drivers of adopting just precision ag versus autonomous?
Okay, basically we did not actually look at precision agriculture generally, but some of the studies that we included has touched on precision agriculture. So some of the tools, some of the precision agriculture tools were also included, but we did not specifically look at precision agriculture and do comparison. Thank you.
Other questions from the audience or virtually? Yes, please.
I wanna continue on the question. So, but in the analysis, you have the trends for the A to A. Did you also look at the trend for the digital ag independently and see if they follow similar trends?
Like I said, we did not look at this specific.
Separate.
No, we didn't look at them separately. We just used the keywords autonomous agriculture to look at studies that have been conducted.
So just autonomous.
Yes, so our focus was basically on the social studies, because we know from what we have seen in literature that strand of literature is very scanty. So we're just looking at a way of how we can come in, because we're trying to see the social dimension to the adoption of technology. So we're just trying to create a gap and see how we can understand the. Okay.
So why I think that could be beneficial is that understanding the trend, what happened in the digital ag adoption, where were the incentives and barriers, maybe it may provide some kind of an insight into the A to A. So challenges, opportunities, and incentives. That's I think where we were trying to get at.
Okay. Thank you.
So it's different. Yeah, it's not like comparing the two. It's what have we learned.
Okay. Thank you so much. I will take note of that and then address it. Thank you.
Very good. Other questions in here or virtually? So I'll jump in here. The perceived usefulness, when you tagged that up and it had 10 documents, indicating perceived usefulness, I thought of some of us I know in the room of the unified theory on the acceptance and use of technology from Venkatesh and Morris, Davis, and Davis. Anyway, have you thought about in the future or your next going forward, if it's you or someone else, utilizing some knowledge transfer models to enhance the understanding, as been said, of adoption in this area? What are your thoughts about that? Just curious.
Well, this is just a beginning of a study that we're working on, and then we're just trying to understand this whole thing. So I presently am looking at technology adoption model, thinking about Davis that you mentioned earlier. So I've been studying the work on technology adoption model critically to look at how we can adapt that framework to understand adoption generally. So that's what I'm working on presently.
That's excellent. Let's give him a hand. Thank you so much. To keep time, we'll go ahead and begin with our next presenter, Dr. Ahn from the University of Florida. Dr. Ahn, where'd you get your PhD from? I don't remember. What was that?
University.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I couldn't remember.
Where you did it from? So I'll spend some time talk about my collaborators, but I'm an assistant professor at the University of Florida, and I'm new assistant professor. So I spent like 7.5 months at the University of Florida, and my position is new. So AI and extension. So what does this mean? So, but first I'm going to talk about today AI and social networks in Florida's agriculture extension systems. So again, my new position. So I'm extension heavy. So what do I do? So one, I start up fund. So I can distribute survey, and I can pay $30 Amazon gift card per person who contribute the survey. And second, I have to realize that how ready they're using AI in their services. So I did that. So my clientele basically is a 360 county extension agents. I'm a state specialized agent, and my clientele is these are 360 agents. So think about the 67 counties in Florida. So there are 3 districts, and Eric Simon, professor in DED district extension director. So we have basically 5 DEDs, and we have 67 CEDs, county extension directors, and more. So 360 county extension agents. But think about this: unless they adopt AI in their services, what's going to happen? My position is nothing, right? So they have to adopt it, they have to use, they have to utilize AI. In extension, so positive and negatives. So it can be positive and it can be negative, right? So using AI, because their daily basis is really busy, they don't have time. So I really have to make sure that they see the power of AI here, right here. It's murky, it's nothing here, but they have to see the power of AI using. It's really beneficial, right? So that's my job basically. Our capacity UF is growing and it's good. The infrastructure is good. We have a hypercomputer, this is supercomputer UF, and then we have our faculty AI working group. We have AI Square Center. We have all the capacity, and then we just completed our workshop at the AI Square Center. But still, we have capacity. Unless they use it, it's nothing. So I have to make sure that AI could scale impact, the benefits should be outweighs barriers. I used this survey to see how ready they are and how they network AI use and how they perceive their AI using their services. So there I basically have 5 guiding questions. Number 1, the general question is how are extension professionals positioned to adopt and influence the use of AI in their services? So we have about 5 programs, so youth, 4-H, and then food and agriculture, and more. So how they use it. So behavioral component is the basic lot factors: competence, also ability, shape AI use among extension agents. Social network and clustering work, I did this combined, and then how they use and then who to interact with, basically. So it can be IFAS, you have IFAS, inside or outside. So I measure that. And then clustering work is important. Are there distinct groups of extension professionals based on AI readiness, competence, or perception? And I collected some kind of qualitative information. There's text information, something like what tools they're using, up to 5, and then they're already using and how they describe AI potential in their work. So I asked one question that, okay, picture yourself how to use AI in their services, basically. And then I got really good answers. So I have key variables. So this survey work was heavy, time consuming. And I collected about 91 variables. And then I actually got 151 responses out of 360. It's a good number because their daily basis again is really busy. So there's some variables key. So number one, confidence level. So how confident they are using AI. So there's the survey item is basically how their confidence, their use AI, so it's confidence variable. Observability is in their services, in their county unit, are there any person who see using AI and then there are any benefits they see? So these are ordinal variables, so not at all with 0 and 4 extremely. So basically it takes some time and collect information using portraits. It's a math and I have to change everything, all the variables, so 0 to 4. And then ordinal variable is AI use. They use whether they use AI. So it's basically no plan to use and no use and no plan to use. And one is no but open using AI. And 4 is regular use. Regular means it's daily basis they use, right? Okay, and then influencers and social ties, they go together. Something like, okay, list of the 5 people influencing or influenced by AI. So we got 5 individual names, and then we got the social ties. They influence more, or they influence equal, or less influence. So that means that the respondents using more AI and influence others. And list up to 3 tools, and then AI tools. It's basically open-ended question, and then scenario. Like I said, picture yourself, how to use AI in their daily basis and in their extension services. I did multiple jobs. Number one, I downloaded Excel file from Portraits. It's rough. I had to do a lot of things, visual check, right? And then afterwards, I moved it to the data, raw data to Stata. So in Stata, I had to record it. I had to make everything labeled, relabeled, and I had to name the variable, define it, and the data mining and the multi-imputation. So I have about 10% missing value. I had to use multi-imputation to fill in those missing input. And afterwards, I exported this file, Stata file, detail file to R and Python for different purposes. And R is a social network visualization. It's really good for like visualizing the social network. And also, I built the word cloud using R. And Python work is a clustering work, so unsupervised learning, right? Unsupervised clustering. And the figures is basically cluster map. Okay, I still have 5 more minutes. So, okay, number one is let's check the reality. So I use data 18 and to see that the filling of 10% missing information using multiple imputation, right? And then I check that, okay, if they use AI daily basis, how about their confidence? They're very, very confident, right here. And then occasionally use and open to no, but open to trying. Like odds ratio is getting smaller and smaller, so I can see more users actually have confidence. Right, basically. But I mean, I could see the reality check is really possible and it works well. So the reality check AI use is the strongest predictor of confidence. The second one is the effect of observability. So Rogers basically mentioned relative advantage or comparability, complexity, triability, observability. So basically I checked observability. So if they see others use AI beneficial, they really use AI more. So this is outcome 3 is really visual that observability really works using AI. So that's what it means basically. So basically diffusion innovation really works. So this is social network analysis map. So one thing challenge takes time is basically I have changed every single respondent ID. So I had 139 IDs. And then I changed all the real names, influencers using AI, influencing AI, pseudonyms, right? So I changed all the numbers. Wait, from the real names. So I'm not going to go through every single detail, but right here, 106 ID and the 118 ID, they actually have really, really tight and good network influenced by AI. So as an extension professor AI, what should I do? So I have to connect with these people, this cluster, and I can do more work. And even I can see these regular groups use AI, but I can see occasional group too. So I can connect with these and these to work using distributed AI, make it possible. So, and not only that, I could capture also non-users. So these green nodes actually have some possibility using AI. So, okay, and then this is also clustering map and showing that, so these confident users actually use their AI in daily basis. And then this is moderate users, and then this is non-users, low confidence. This is really showing that the clustering really worked well, and then no overlap. So I have to make it, these people, non-users, to here, and the moderate users of here, so that many people can have their confidence using AI. So basically, one size fits all doesn't work. So this segment really helps support where is needed and the most promising AI. So I have a couple more slides. So what AI tools are you using? So ChatGPT, Copilot, a few Python, but I could see a lot of people iNaturalist or Picture ID, plant image, so something embedded here. So they can use more easily accessible, like Seer, right? Canva, these ones. So my job is basically should be, number one, they're using more Gen AI, and also they have some kind of coding skills also, so that they can see something like a data power and then a big data network and their report to the supervisor. So why they're using AI? So I collected heat map. So this is our work. And then they use AI for management writing skills, improve tools, and making EDI publication, extension articles. And then it can be time efficient, and also they can create content to promote their programs. And they can have more ideas, better ideas, generate ideas, so on. So I collected this information, hierarchical clustering work, and then the reasons why they use AI. And these are the only individual IDs. Okay, so one next. So AI use is not random. So they see it's possible, it's beneficial, they adopt it. So it clusters around confidence perceptions and social positions. And then adoption is happening, and then we have to fill in the confidence gap, and equity concerns still remains. And long term, I have to make sure that count extension agents are comfortable using AI to enhance human intelligence and promote universal ID. Okay, just 1 minute. I really want to appreciate my collaborators. So Matt Bench is an extension, PDAG is extension director, and he knows a lot of extension agents. He was himself an extension agent. Laura Grino, assistant professor, she and I often talk about social network analysis. Last but not least, Dr. Robert Strong, we often talk about, he was my dissertation committee, and then we talked about AI often, and I was a PhD student. So I'm really pleased and appreciate Dr. Strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. On. We do have a couple of minutes for questions from this audience or virtually. Anyone in the audience? Yes.
Very interested in this. What would be your advice on how to use your results into position description and recruiting in the near future?
AUF?
Yeah, or anywhere. I mean, I think everybody can do what you did, studying their population of agents.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they're going to find something very similar.
Yeah.
And so now administration is going to want to know, how do we move the needle towards more capacity, competency, and use?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So, we are here. So there are a lot of faculty members using AI on a daily basis, predictive AI, Gen AI, and the county extension agency here. I just realized. So I have to fill this gap. That's number one. And then we submitted a white paper to the administration that okay, we need more AI professors. So my job basically is that to show the reality, where are we, and how we can use AI. So my goal is that I'm gonna use more of AI on a daily basis, and then but also we need to build this up so that we can provide more education to county extension agents, AI Square working group, workshop. So, yeah.
Very good. Let's give them a hand. Thank you so much. I do want to remind everyone that the QR code for the conference evaluation has been passed around. I can't underscore enough how critical it is if you register for this, regardless of your role, that you complete that for us. I've been told that Dr. Yu, our next presentation, had to cancel, and so we are going to stay on schedule, and we will begin promptly at 10:44 with our next presentation. Okay, so you're welcome to leave the room. You're welcome to create an organic conversation around this topic. You can even ask Dr. On more questions. I will just put him on the spot. You're welcome to gear him out. But we will, sorry, not at 10:40. Yeah, it's 9:30 up there. Mississippi State, you're trying to mess me up. Look at that. That's great. But no, at 10:44, I will make the next announcement for our next presentation. Yes, please.
I have a question.
No, yeah, you guys can talk. We're moving around. It can be organic or not. I'm going to go get some coffee.
Every day we do this. So what's next for you?
Next for me, that's a really good question. So first,
Beyond tenure, beyond tenure.
yeah, you know, I mean, yeah. So I complete my needs assessment. So this is my first needs assessment. So and then we last week had a workshop. So for 30 county extension agents, and then we provide some workshop. And then I don't really think that they enjoy coding work, Python and R coding, but we gotta build this kind of capacity, and then because a lot of people, I'm gonna show you this. I have to move very fast. So if you see this one, there are a lot of people using ChatGPT daily basis. It's not surprising, right? Copilot, the same thing. The UX actually encouraging you to use more Copilot. But Gemini and others, Gen AI, how to use wisely Gen AI, that's one thing, right? It's easy job. But ultimately, I have to educate how to code Python or R. So that's something. And the other ones, like the Mullingbird or Navigator is our own UF Gen AI system. iNaturalist or the other ones, Picture ID, Picture this is like embedded ones in the smartphone. So they take a picture and they can see, they can measure what kind of bird it is or what kind of plant this is, something like that. So one job, easiest job is that how to use better these ones, learning better ones. And upside here, they have to show if they see the potential, the coding work really works. It takes time coding, right? So I have to teach how to load data, how to collect information, what kind of data types are, something like this. So I have to educate them. So I have multiple roles. So yeah, thanks.
So I was curious, did you collect demographic factors?
That's really the question. Yes, I did. So the number of factors here is that extension agents 1 through 4, so they have their own promotion system, right? And I collected also the gender, and I also collected where they are. Not precise geographic location, but it's like 5 districts. And then also I didn't really specify that what kind of county they serve, because there are about 3 to 4 county extension agents every county. So if I ask that, I exactly know who they are. So instead of that, I asked that they're serving county the number of population, because Florida is basically there are approximately 1,000 new people coming in. So I can measure that is it urban, peri-urban, or rural, something like that. So that's something I covered.
Did you find anything interesting?
Yes. So I actually, before this work, I got some prelim data, and I could see the potential that there's a huge difference between urban and rural, like resources. I can imagine really big counties like the Miami-Dade County. So there are about 6 to 7 or like 8 county extension agents working, and then their resources heavy. So it's like a 50% funding coming from county government, 50% state. So they have a lot of resources. So I could see the real difference between AI use between the urban and rural. But the school data I couldn't see. So that's really surprising. So I had to double check that. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for the presentation. So, in your view, do you think that our extension agents, especially who do not embrace AI, are going to be out of job?
Oh, you mean the replacing jobs? I don't really think so. So if you think extension, like I said multiple times, you have people, faculty, like the person like me is specialized agent, state specialized agent. I'm really encouraged to use advanced AI, right? But county extension agents, they are here. It's realistic that because their databases by programs like a youth, think about the 4-H youth development. They go to the field, they educate the youth, right? Daily basis, so they don't have time at all to use AI, right? So food and agriculture, same thing. So their daily basis is really easy. So I can imagine that I could have a lot of potential possibilities using AI, but socioeconomic factors, we are here, so I have to, So simple answer, the short answer, I don't really think so. I mean, in the short period of time, so. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, an excellent presentation. This is like a how-to question.
Yes, sir.
When you collect the data in Qualtrics
Yes.
and export it to Strata 18 or Fireline, how do you do it? How long does it take?
Wow. Okay. That's really good question. So we recently had a spring break, 7 days.
Okay.
So I spent all 7 days. So I did not have spring break. So so literally it took 7 days. So I collected. So I had a visual check. So like a weekly basis. So I distributed the survey February 20th. So after 1 month, but these 4 weeks were spent. I mean this time. I had a visual check, but I didn't really do like all the data work. So for whole 7 days, I did all this work. So it took 7 days to do every single thing. So I still need to check more variables. So these are the promising ones.
Mm-hmm.
I still need to see. So for instance, social network analysis map, I also asked power dynamics. So who is more influenced to this person or vice versa. So I measured that. Unfortunately, because of lack of time, I couldn't really measure precisely. The social network map, I actually did some, but I mean, it really doesn't show. So my next work is going to be, so this map is basically final, but it doesn't really include any power dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
So who influences more, equal, or less? So I have to measure that. So this map is critical for me because I know these people, although I made all the pseudonyms, but I know how to reach them out, so that we can start a real collaboration. I'm the only individual, I'm one person, I can't do everything. So I must work with them, and then I also have to see and the power dynamics that who can make these possible more realistically.
Okay. I have a question on that.
Yes.
Yeah. If you look at those who use AI regularly, you
Yeah.
can see that they are not connected to a lot of people. So
Yeah.
how are you going to leverage on these individuals too?
That's really good question. Yes. I mean, this map is realistic. I mean, nothing really hypothetical. This is a real map. So yes, I mean, there are a lot of disconnection. So I can see that two possibilities. I can't really connect with outside UF IFES, but I can connect with within you have access easily. So and then be realistic. Some people right here, they have funding, so I can ask some funds to work with them. So two sides, one Gainesville campus, the main campus, one side is here, the other side is county. So I can start two simultaneously, one Gainesville campus, the other one is county. So yeah, but this connection make it possible connected later on. This is the needs assessment. So. Sir.
It's more of a comment than a question following on what you just said. It looks to me that we are confusing two concepts, at least I was, and you just made me separate them. When we talk about AI adoption, my mind as a former extension specialist was adoption to teach to others. But when you look at this map and you look at the map of words, it's really the adoption of tools for the agents to do their own work better.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, when you look at the clusters here, I see two kinds of clusters.
Yeah.
The clusters of, I'm in a large office and I've educated myself quite a bit on how to do my job better with AI. And then you ask me. So I have this network locally where I kind of radiate and influence my peers in my large office. The other one is maybe the 4-H agents who teach STEM or flying drones or how to take images through drones. And 4-H agents, they like to cling together. And so they will have a team of agents who are more teaching AI to others rather than using AI for improving their own programs. And so all of a sudden I'm thinking maybe we need to be more specific in our wording of AI adoption and you separate AI adoption for self-improvement or AI adoption for teaching to clients.
That's right.
And I think that's going to allow two different approaches to increase adoption on both sides.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. I don't really, my last comment would be, I don't really see something happening one day. So my work is going to be daily basis, making them use AI just as slowly but as steadily. So that's my work. So
That's your job security map.
yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah.
The QR codes, I see one on the sheet of paper there. They're still floating around the room. Very good. Thank you all in advance for doing those. Very good. I'll still keep us on time. You all feel free to continue asking questions. I have a couple of minutes.
Really needs a break.
In all seriousness, Dr. Ahn, I really appreciate your ability to really push the needle in extension scholarship. And as you were talking, I was trying to send Dr. Verde behind you a message because we have a position coming open real soon that we're probably going to be recruiting you for. So, no, I appreciate your ability to push extension scholarship.
Objection.
Everything virtually working great? I've not seen any questions or anything, so we're going to roll on, right? Good. Thanks for your help.
No problem.
I really appreciate it. For those curious, after Emmanuel's and then Dr. Londa Verde's presentation, this room, that'll be all the sessions in this particular room. So maybe you didn't want to know that, maybe you did want to know that. I'm just sharing that knowledge with you. Emmanuel, thank you for coming today to share your work with us. I know you had an extremely long commute to come here today. Thank you for sharing your work. And Emmanuel, the floor is yours.
Thank you. And I thank you for the opportunity to share my work, which I'm collaborating with some faculty members to do on trying to assess the accuracy of Gen AI tools with regards to their use for extension program planning and evaluation. In fact, until Dr. Ann's presentation, I almost thought our extension agents are left out of the AI conversation. But thanks, Dr. Ann's has touched on that. So my presentation will cover these topics. From our previous presentation, we know that AI is affecting every aspect of academia and industry. In the health sector, it's been proven that it's going to help medical diagnosis. In education, it's been found that AI usage will improve students' performance in teaching and learning. In agriculture or cooperative extension service here, it also been found that farmers can, through their use of AI tools, access real-time information, gaining access to their questions that they may have related to crop production or livestock production. Also, extension specialists who are involved in program planning evaluation, it's also been found that their use of AI will kind of help them improve their competencies with regards to conducting extension program planning evaluation. So, the question or the current research focus now on how accurate the answers or the prompts provided by those generative AI tools are. So, for example, if you input your questions into ChatGPT, the responses that it generates, how accurate is it compared with technical experts' viewpoint? So, in health, these studies have been conducted recently, and some findings are that the responses provided by those tools sometimes are easily understood and scientifically accurate. However, there are still room for improvement as the responses are not 100% accurate. We have studies in multiple fields indicating almost 90% accuracy, though not 100%. My focus is on cooperative extension service. A recent study conducted right here in the United States found that those various types of GPTs gave various degrees of accuracy in various counties. So, for example, the pointer is not coming, but we can see that the study was conducted in 2 counties in Florida, and I've forgotten the other state, but it was found that ChatGPT responses gave about 80% accuracy in some counties, whilst the response accuracy rate was low in other counties. And the explanation was that those counties which recorded high accuracy of ChatGPT responses actually had data that from extension specialists that had been used to train those models. That is why the accuracy rate was high. So, because people or specialists are starting to use generative AI in their daily works, the research focus now is trying to determine the accuracy and to improve the performance of these tools, which leads to the work that we are currently doing. To the best of our knowledge and to the limits of our research, we have not seen any study specifically focusing on generative AI's application by the extension agents or the specialists themselves. All the conversation centers around farmers' use, how it's going to improve productivity and all that. But it looks like we are, having oversight of the fact that our extension specialists who plan our program, they evaluate it, also need these tools to improve their efficiency with regards to planning of extension programs. There have been a lot of studies showing consistent low competency amongst the agents or the specialists who are involved in program planning and evaluation, especially those early in their career. And expert opinion, especially from Dr. Hill and Dr. Nareen, who I know personally, they are opining that when these specialists who are engaged in program planning and evaluation, they engage with ChatGPT, is going to help them improve their competency. Hence, there's been, it's imperative for us to also look into how these specialists or agents are also using ChatGPT and how it's going to help them. But before we jump into adoption studies and all that, we need to first verify how accurate the responses of these Gen AI tools are going to be should our extension planning specialists begin to use these tools. So that is the rationale of our study. So our focus is to use specialists, extension specialists within the Mississippi State operational area to kind of judge the accuracy of responses ChatGPT will provide to some prompts or questions that we will input into the AI tool. And our approach is a qualitative expert judgment, where we will select 2 specialists in program planning and evaluation. We will input some prompts, which we are going to see here. So these are the prompts we are going to input into ChatGPT, and we will retrieve the response that the AI tool will give us. We will not edit it, we won't do anything to it. We will present those responses to the experts and ask them to rate the responses according to some set criteria. Yeah, these are the criteria that we are going to ask the specialists to rate the responses against. So if it is correct, these are the interpretations. If it's incomplete, mixed or irrelevant. And apart from, or in addition to the ratings, we are also going to ask the specialists to give justification for the ratings that they will give. So we will analyze our data using these analytical tools as well as inductive content categorization. So we will first calculate the percentage of those responses that will be judged correct or incorrect or irrelevant, and then we use that to determine the degree of accuracy. Then we will also use the experts' comments or their textual justification to back up the degree that we will find. And we will also like to find out the inter-rater reliability amongst the experts to see the agreement between their ratings. It would have been nice to present the result, but unfortunately we are still in the process of receiving the IRB approval, so we cannot share the result now. But we are expecting that our study will help us to know the percentage of accuracy of GPT's responses with regards to prompts relating to extension program planning evaluation. So the experts' justification we hope to receive will help us to throw more light on the accuracy. Now, the implication that we expect our research result to provide, we expect to have expert advice with regards to the extent to which our current, our extension agents or specialists can use the Gen AI tool. Depending on the percentage accuracy we will receive, either we will recommend that they use it more or they use it with caution. What are the specific areas of caution they should take? We also hope to receive recommendation with regards to whether it will be necessary to develop or contextualize or specialize chatbot where we will train the Gen AI tool with extension program planning and evaluation specific data so that it will increase the accuracy of responses from ChatGPT. Yeah, so that's all I've got to share with you. Thank you for your audience. And if there are questions, there are comments, contributions to improve our study, you are welcome to bring it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Very interesting study. Thank you so much. Questions online or in the audience here? Let me try virtual first. I've not, I think, respected them enough this session. Anything virtually? No? Good. You have it.
Thank you very much for doing what you do. I wonder if we are setting ourselves for failure. in none of the projects and the works that we've heard to in this conference, none of them has a risk attached to the decisions made. Every presenter at some point says, oh, the model was pretty good, which in my statistical mind, this means that the overall average in the population is well described by this line. When we do one search and we try to see if it's accurate in statistical terms, now we are looking at the prediction interval for a single measure, which is a totally different concept. So up until the people who develop those models will give us the risk attached to making a mistake, from upfront, we are always going to be facing as users the risk of getting bad information. So I am glad you're trying to document that, which is going to be good, but once we have the documentation, we need to go back and say, please tell us a risk of what is the percentage chances that a search is correct from the get-go. And that's going to help us as scholars of using this. And then that's going to also help our clients if we can tell them that this robot is going to spray the weed correctly 99 times out of 1,000, but one time it's going to spray the plant. So expect some of your plants to die and expect that we're going to miss some weeds. But we never hear that language. So I think we need to have a little bit more of humility in the way the risk is presented, and we need to have some risk presented.
Exactly. Thank you for that. And I think that's why studies of this kind has to be conducted in various contexts of what we do as extensionists, so that we can always determine the accuracy and determine the point where we need to beef up the accuracy level of those tools that we hope to use in our service. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Other questions? Time for a couple more questions. Anyone?
Just one question. So are you planning to build, once you have these responses, are you planning to build some type of chatbot that has the relevant data for the extension?
Probably. That's going to be one of the products. But until we determine the degree of accuracy, we cannot say that for certain. But I know that definitely we'll get there.
Because right now we have a lot of these AI tools. Is there any reason for why you chose ChatGPT?
Yeah, because there are a lot of studies, even within extension and outside extension, indicating that the response rates accuracy, like some of the data I shared earlier on, indicated that the response rate accuracy from ChatGPT is actually high, which gives an insight of some level of dependability, or reliability in there. So that's why it always comes top of the list of Gen AI tools when we are discussing about Gen AI tools.
Well, because they keep improving this model every week or every month. There is a new version.
Yeah.
Like for example, we might find maybe this month's Globe is better than ChatGPT. Maybe next month's ChatGPT is better than. So.
Yeah,
I don't think if it's right to say always ChatGPT is better.
I don't think it might be always right to choose ChatGPT over the others, but currently that's what we know, that it provides higher kind of responses with regards to reliability and all that. And in my study, we are using the latest version of ChatGPT, which has proven high, reliability when it comes to the input that it provides. We are using the ChatGPT 4.0, which is, I think, the latest paid version of the ChatGPT.
Or maybe, as a suggestion, maybe, maybe it's good to say that, okay, whenever I was asking this question, on this month, ChatGPT was better compared to the other, not just generalizing, like always ChatGPT is better.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Let's give Emmanuel a round of applause. Thank you so much for your work with us. Thank you. Next, we have Dr. Rafael Landaverde from Texas A&M. Dr. Landaverde, thank you for sharing your scholarship with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for staying to the end. Who in the room have used ChatGPT? So, the New York Times posted an article a couple of weeks ago saying that ChatGPT has achieved something that not other technology have achieved. It is equally giving access to the technology to the majority of the society, which had never happened before. It had reduced that discrepancy or differences between different groups. However, this project came out of an effort that was initially put it in place, and it kind of like failed, and we kind of like took a step back to reconsider the approach that we were taking. We were working on different projects, designing different chatbots internally. A&M has their own version of ChatGPT that hasn't been released to the general population, but a group of individuals have been, we have had the opportunity to interact and evaluate the chatbot that's going to be primarily for all the entities and universities and agencies within A&M. But we have developed others for equine experts and different groups. So this one, we were trying to work on one particularly focused on farmers. However, in this effort that the school and particularly our department is putting into community engaged research, we identified that there is a lot of research about the potential that ChatGPT will have for farmers, but there is no actual implementation studies yet that will tell us how farmers are using it and how effective it is when they are using ChatGPT. So before we designed this, we wanted it to bring farmers and understand a little bit more about what they are looking for in these chatbots and how we can make it more effective for what they are looking at this. And we know that trust, usability, and replicability are going to be extremely important as they look through the information that ChatGPT is providing for them, not only for continuing using the chatbot, but to make the purpose of that chatbot useful for them. So, as you know, ChatGPT is one of the most popular. Many of my colleagues here have shared a lot about ChatGPT and how different audiences are using it. ChatGPT is particularly good with what people will consider expert audiences, people who are able to discern between good quality and bad quality responses, and also have the possibility to re-ask about what they are looking for and trying to dig into in terms of information. While many researchers highlight the speed and the immediate accessibility, others argue that it lacks context and that limits the usability that we will have in the information that is provided. So this is a map telling you where ChatGPT has been mostly used around the world. And so if you can see, there are different places where ChatGPT is really popular, but there are regions in the world where this remains to be unknown. So a little bit about our study. We use the search credibility framework to develop our interview questions, but also to understand and analyze some of the responses that we received from our participants. As I move through the results, this is a primarily qualitative study, so I am providing you with a summary of the results because the quotes wouldn't make it really difficult to present. Source credibility is particularly relying on two concepts and its expertise that has been now expanded into goodwill and expertise as a third component, and also the trustworthiness of the information that is provided. We are also developing a survey and expanding on this work, adding the source attractiveness of ChatGPT for farmers, looking at a physical attraction, familiarity, likability, and similarity with those other sources of information where farmers have relied for a very long time. Some of you have shared, and across the different sessions and presentations of the conference we have heard, farmers trust completely different entities in terms of information. Some trust extension services, some others will be more into their peers, and then we have to acknowledge that that similarity of like what they will be using will be an interesting element within exploring this. So there were 3 research questions that guided our study. And the first one was how do farmers perceive the trustworthiness of agricultural information provided by ChatGPT? what are farmers' experiences with the usability of ChatGPT in their agricultural practices, and to what extent do farmers find the agricultural information provided by ChatGPT to be replicable and reliable in their farming operations. So we did a participatory qualitative study. We spent several hours with farmers. We anticipated that they will have ChatGPT already installed, but out of the 26 participants that we have, only one had used ChatGPT before. So that gives us an idea that the New York Times might have not considered farmers in their article, and that we are still looking at ChatGPT to be a tool, or chatbots in general to be tools for expert or people who are more familiar with the AI innovations overall. Participants' interactions with ChatGPT started with 10 general questions related to agricultural practices, going from resource management to weather information, and then they had the opportunity to ask individual questions in working with one of the team members on a one-on-one. We allowed them for the flexibility to ask the questions that they wanted and were interested for them, and explained them the possibility to re-ask questions to the chatbot if they needed more information. So after we interacted with them, we did a semi-structured interview with each of them. We transcribed the interviews for some text analysis, and we also used our reflected memos from our interactions with them to work with the trustworthiness and triangulation of our data. Our results overall demonstrate a high level of skepticism about ChatGPT's information on topics such as climate change, pest management, and irrigation. Farmers do not find the information to be the information that they were looking at, and particularly their responses lack or have a very high level or demonstrated a high level of concerns among the participants about the contextual relevance of the answers. We anticipated that this was going to be the case, so we provided them in the instructions when we were interacting with the chatbot, the idea of providing contextual information to where they were, the crops that they were working, or the different practices that they were using. But still with that, they are concerned, or they are apprehensive about how that information will be relevant for the context where they are operating. There is a very low perception of replicability when it comes to use that data outside of just gathering information and putting it in place in their practices. Particularly, they perceive an expansion of their knowledge regarding the topic with general information, but nothing useful when it comes to implement changes in their daily practices that will enhance any of the topics of interest that they provided. They still seem to prefer other sources when we ask them if they will replace one of their current sources of information over using chatbots. They still rely more on some of them, as I mentioned it before, talking about their extension services, especially those on more interactions with this county level, where they are more familiar than the state level specialists. But no many of them, or none of their responses during the interviews were really reflective of an intention to change one of their sources currently to a chatbot, or particularly ChatGPT. None of them were demonstrating in their answers an intention to continue a prolonged engagement with the chatbot. So even with the interaction that we provided and a little bit of a training at the beginning, because we showed them how to download the app, some of them didn't have an account, so we created an account, we set it up, we talked to them about how it's useful, how you change a chat, how you open a new question. They do not demonstrate intentions to continue using it after the engagement that we had with them. In terms of how useful and they like the usability and like the design of the boot, they say that most of them have concerns about their reliable connection to the internet, how they will get access to previous answers that they have had, and how they don't know where that information will be stored and what it will be to try to look for that information later on. So then we did a little bit of a text analysis using InfraNotice to see where our information was concentrated. Some of the information, as you see, there are different kind of like communities of knowledge in terms of the results that we got. But there is still areas where there is disconnections in terms of how this system will work. But overall, as you can see, a lot of the content that is coming is, it has to do with the expertise and also a little bit of how the context base has to be a little bit more included or contextualized in terms of the answers that they are getting. We're looking forward at, kind of like dig a little bit more into how these connections will take place as we move on through using these chatbots and moving them to the actual farm. So, despite the growing body of literature, which I think is really big, we have a lot of articles about ChatGPT. There is very low putting it in place, particularly with farmers. I think we need to move on from a lot of the theoretical undergrounds, and the majority of the research you will find on ChatGPT are systematic reviews. There are other disciplines like public health or medicine that have done a little bit more of work of using ChatGPT to provide their audiences with information. There are some clinical studies about patients interacting with ChatGPT for diagnosis, but with farmers, we're still very limited in terms of how these chatbots will be useful. Our preliminary findings suggest a need for more participatory research, especially as ChatGPT usage continue to expand globally, and the chatbots continue to, be significantly proposed as a tool. We saw really a great study before this one, and also in Dr. Hahn's results, that ChatGPT is really heavily present, and chatbots are going to be something that Extension will be looking at to enhance the productivity of the Extension agents in their work, but also to deliver those key services that Extension has been providing for a long time. Farmers' low trust in ChatGPT highlights the need for further tailored outreach and education to effectively implement AI chatbots in agricultural production settings. We have talked a lot over the last couple of days about adoption of these innovations and how much we need to promote and do more work on it. But a huge step before adoption is farmers trusting the sources and trusting the entities that are delivering these innovations. So we have to work on the outreach and education of these audiences. The results offer insights for those seeking to bridge the gap between academia and overall the civil society. We have great outcomes in this conference about the AI progress that we're making. Now I think it is our responsibility to bring that to society and see and take the risk of seeing how it's going to work and what benefits or what challenges might face. I will take any questions, and I appreciate your time. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, I know that you said that we need to train new models. So, what do you think the probability of a farmer using a model that is pre-fine-tuned for corn or cotton or soybean?
Well, giving a probability will be something that I won't be able to say with like a precise number, but I think we can work into make them more familiar with these tools. Like I said, we base our initial project, which was designing a general chatbot on agricultural information on the premise that they knew about these things. But when we went with them, we only one, some of them have heard about ChatGPT, but only one of them had used it before. So it will depend definitely on the audience and see how much familiarity they have with this. But I think, we have seen multiple innovations like this one come to, not like particularly a chatbot, but other innovations that have taken a long time to be adopted and like generally adopted, not by just a group. So I think it will take some time and some work, but if Extension is working on using it within Extension, I think it will be a great venue to start also using it with the farmers. Extension, I don't have an Extension appointment, but I work closely with the Extension services at A&M, and I think they have the access and the direct connection, and that building trust relationship most of the time with the farmers that will make it easier for them to use it.
We have time for one more question.
Yes.
Thank you for a very insightful presentation.
Thank you.
So, reading the survey of the farmers, I felt like it's somewhat reasonable that they cannot 100% trust the ChatGPT answers, because we've already all experienced that sometimes ChatGPT make fake answers because it mainly focuses on generate more natural sentences rather than find trusted resources. So I wanna ask how the education should be for the farmers. So we engineers know if we make a good prompt, do prompt engineering, that it may find really trusted documents. And then we also can verify if the answers is correct or not by visiting the URL that ChatGPT gives. So I want to know your opinion about how the education should be for the farmers.
Well, first of all, I think that information that you just mentioned needs to be digested in a more understandable concept for the farmers, and preventing them that not all the answers that are coming from ChatGPT, or if it's a more managed or trained chatbot, it would probably be less concerned. But this has to do with source credibility, and how we need to also educate farmers in terms of how to discern on that information. So that's why I don't think particularly ChatGPT should just unleash for farmers to use. I think they should be trained on how they can access information through ChatGPT, but the presence or the support of the technical personnel should continue to be there. I think that overall AI has a great potential, but there is something about the human talent that it will never be replaced. And so we have to acknowledge that farmers will have different language, the words won't be really the same. So those are challenges that we will have to overcome through outreach and training in terms of them using these particular tools.
I want to thank you for your focus on scholarship with external stakeholders. I think in the social sciences, we don't do enough of that. We might do an extension program or some type of training, but to actually enhance our outputs of scholarship with external stakeholders. I appreciate your lens on that. Thank all the presenters.